Okay, thank you, and welcome everybody to the 2025 Roif Awards celebration. It's the 25th anniversary. I'm Barbara Zecchi, the director of the Interdepartmental Program in Film Studies, and unfortunately, Eileen Roif, our generous donor, cannot make it. Today it's the first time in 25 years that she misses the ceremony, but we are filming the event, as we do every year, and we're going to send her the link so we can say hi and thank you, just talking to the camera. And also, our new dean, Rupert Davidson, cannot make it. It's a very busy time of the year and the end of a very challenging year for the administration. So she cannot make it. It's been a challenging year for film studies too, but challenging in a very positive way, because this is the year in which our film major, after 5 years of incubation, has been approved by the Board of Higher Ed, by the Faculty Senate, and then we had an external evaluation. It was brilliant. Now we are in phase 2. We are back to the Board of Higher Ed, and if everything, fingers crossed, goes well, we are going to be able to launch finally the major in the fall. So I have to thank the students who are here and who are graduating this year, our seniors who really help us through this journey, this 4 years journey with us, and because of you we managed to have this major. And please, when you leave, send us, don't forget about us, send us an email every now and then, tell us about your successes, because we are really interested in knowing where you are after you leave the incubator, literally. And then I want to say thank you to everybody who organized this amazing event, starting with my friend and colleague Barry Spence, who did an amazing work in the organization. There's so many things to put together for this event. Also, I want to thank the faculty who nominated all the pieces that we are going to watch today and more. So thank you to my colleagues in film studies. Thank you also to the jury, people that had to work at night during weekend just to go through the amount of stuff we send them, and they did an amazing job selecting the 12 winners. And then I want to thank our staff, the amazing Lucia Gomez. Thank you, Lucia, who is behind the camera. And Ian Sadelo, his official title is the Miracle Maker, also behind the camera over there. Thank you, Ian. And last but not least, Eileen Roif and her family for the amazing support they've been giving us for 25 years. It was really crucial for many of us, for our program, and for the students. So thank you, Eileen, thank you. We have some chocolate, and I hope to see you soon and give the chocolate in person. I cannot give it to you through the camera. So without anything else, I'm going to just pass the microphone that I don't have, the floor, to Barry Spence. Thank you, Barry.
I'm sorry, I'm like Barbara, I'm not going to, even though Kevin Anderson, a dear friend and colleague, I can't expect to generate his bio. So Kevin Taylor Anderson is a visual anthropologist and award-winning documentary filmmaker. His experience shooting films in Nigeria, Ethiopia, Japan, Italy, India, Mexico, Ireland, and Alaska. He has published scholarly articles on reality television, ethnographic film, documentary film, and medical anthropology. Kevin has taught film studies and anthropology courses at Tufts University, Clark University, Seattle University, and currently is senior lecturer in media, culture, and visual methods in the Department of Communication at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. His heroes are Jean Fouche, Chris Marker, and Matsuro Basho. Yeah.
I'll start by saying it's an honor to be asked to host this event, so I'm very pleased about it. I also want to say I am fighting off a cold. I'm 3 espresso, or espressi, right? And several cold medicines in, so I will do my best, and we'll stick with fist bumps. Okay. Kind of like Barry, I'm going to be reading a little bit here from the script. If you take one of my classes, I don't always stick to the script, but for this introduction, I will stick with the script, okay? So the Mike West Roif Award in Film Studies is a competitive annual prize awarded to students whose works of filmmaking and film scholarship demonstrate exceptional creativity and accomplishment. The award is based upon a gift made by his family in honor of Michael S. Roif, a university alumnus and film enthusiast. For over 20 years, and it's now 25 this year, the Roif family, through the endowment of the Michael S. Roif Award, has promoted film students in their undergraduate work at UMass Amherst and inspired career successes beyond graduation. Roif winners have been accepted into prestigious graduate programs and film schools, and some have even showcased their works at renowned film festivals and are enjoying very successful careers in the film industry and other related fields. Instructors of courses in film studies may nominate up to 2 students. Students may not apply directly for the Roif Award. Nominees must be university undergraduate film studies certificate students or students in film studies concentration who have completed a film /video moving image media project in a UMass film studies course taken during the past 3 semesters. Throughout these years, the Roif Award has kind of changed from kind of like film studies, film production work, but now it's come on to include different formats and different genres such as critical essays, scripts, documentaries, podcasts, video essays, animation films, 16mm films, video poems, music videos, and the list just goes on and on. It's really exciting to see how these young people have really broadened our understanding of what we used to call just film studies, film production. So I'm here to introduce the winners for the various Roif Awards, and we'll start with experimental film, a genre that's particularly near and dear to my heart. And the winner, the second place award for Best Experimental Video goes to Alicia Chung.
I just wanted to say thank you to the Roif family for giving us this platform and support for our creative endeavors. And this particular project puts dear to my heart, mainly because I've been trying to explore using mundane objects from the spin to kind of leave my dorm at times. So just using objects to move texture and slowly to enhance the auditory experience.
Best External Video.
Theo Rainoff for his film Burning, and I know I'm a little bit familiar with this because I read it during film class, and I'll tell you, when we screened it, everybody in the class was just kind of like, Dex, you were there. We're all like, oh. Fantastic film, so congratulations.
After that, wonderful. It'll get really smooth.
I'd also like to thank the Silent Roif and the Roif family for giving us this platform to show our work and have it recognized. I'd like to thank Kevin for nominating me. He saw something in my work, so thank you for that. I'd like to thank all the faculty. They're just great all around. The film major is just really becoming its whole thing, and it's great. It's really great to see. And last but not least, I'd like to thank Samantha Van Horn for just being really supportive. As you'll see, I asked her to get dressed in this black full body suit, black spandex, and I could see halfway through she was thinking like, what the fuck is he thinking? But she continued anyway, and thank you for that. I hope you enjoy.
Moving on, let's go to the category of best 16mm film. David, you're all ready right there.
I hope so.
Digital experimental imagery to good old analog 16mm. And the winner for best 16mm film is Miles Hiller for Vev. It's getting smooth.
I'd like to thank I'd like to thank Maddie Roif and the Roif family for supporting this whole thing and everyone, and Div and Nixon for nominating me. This film is an exploration of kind of the potential of the projector that we use in class. I hope you like it.
This award goes to Jaden Kristiansky for the Massachusetts Multicultural Film Festival for 2025.
Thank you. I want to start off by saying thank you to Evan Roif and the Roif family for this opportunity. It's really exciting, it's really special to me and everyone here today. I also want to thank Ian and Celia for giving me the opportunity to create this trailer. It was for the Massachusetts Multicultural Film Festival, which is really hard to say 3 times fast. But the film festival was centered around 10 separate films, but documenting descent. So I hope that the trailer really depicts them. So, thank you so much.
All right, so moving on to the category of Best Video Essay. We have, for second place, Dex Beach, and The Cinematic Scar, Reconstructing Suture Theory.
Thank you so much. I wanted to say thank you, obviously, to the Roif family for letting this happen, and I really wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. Last year, my nomination and recognition the first time around was for a screenplay, and it really gave me the confidence to want to pursue this beyond just a writing application into production. And as I'm just looking around this room now, like I see Kevin, who had my class. I had a class with him for my first film I ever made. I see Barbara, who I got to do MMF with and got to see the process of film festivals with, and obviously I see Barry, who nominated my video essay this time around, and obviously just changed my idea about cinema in general. It means a lot to me for this particular project to be nominated too, because it was my first video essay I've ever made, and I'm really proud of it. And even though it was literally just in December, it feels like a world away now. And it's gonna be really weird looking at me from a couple months ago and thinking that's such a different person now. But I think that's a great sign too, because it shows me that this is definitely the growth process, and I think that it really does show that UMass Film Studies Department in general, but especially Barry, especially Barbara, especially Kevin, everyone involved here today in this room, really has taught me the power of film to give inspiration and hope. And I think I really needed this year especially. It was a very crazy year, and it was a very scary year for a lot of reasons, but looking back on it now, it's going to be kind of scary, but also hopeful, and I think that's going to be how I go into it this viewing and onwards. The filmmaking has given me a lot of things to be scared of, but in a good way, because it's also given me such an overwhelming feeling of hope and purpose. And I just want to thank all of you again, so thank you, and I hope you enjoy it.
At least once every day in my life, there is someone who says something in regards to my piercings. Now, over 24, that's the number I typically go with because the reality is I don't care to count. They are synonymous with my face. True, in the sense I feel the image of me without them is no image of me at all. A falser illusion than the act of a mirror. I feel unstrung, unraveled, and only made whole again when the holes are made visible. Can you make the lack real? Make it seen and felt, experienced tangibility. Filled with silver, embellishing and authenticating, an Ouroboros in my ears, above my eyes, in my nose, feeding itself on my senses, holy in its impossible end, fated to desire, to devour. It is in my body as much as my body wears it, through sense and consciousness together, internally or externally threaded, my metal chills inside the skin to remind bones of their titanium coating. How myself rises to the surface, broken free with a needle, embodied finally through a projected view. The image beneath my eyes, now something to be looked on, something apparent to everyone else. I thought it had only lived inside my mind, when it was in my ears and nose and above my vision line. Sharps through skin to make the self, with ink, with jewelry, with words, all simply dots of black and white. The red of the flesh turns them alive. Through interaction with the human body, metal is made human, made body. The cinema is the same. In so many ways, film is body. How it holds time, memory, dream, the same. What separates film is its immortality. Film doesn't end, as much as fade-ins and outs convince us otherwise. It is constant and alive even without our eyes. But when it is viewed, it is complete. Having found a vessel, a manger, a tomb, to rest its reflection upon in a real time, to have an aura, the innate feeling of film, the sensorial orgy when mere replication is killed, so that we may feel presence in present. To give over the senses completely is vulnerability. Body becomes retrospective. Allowing subconscious to rise to the spheres of our retinas, mind runs free, yet the body is likewise fed by the image. Its intensity and resemblance shoots nerves to feel, but as captivated, the body loosens and stiffens to remain still, numbing our reaction to sensation to instead become sensation. Academia rationalizes this through suture theory, arguing that film is designed to evade its own illusion, hiding the camera so we may adopt its sight, and we may make sense of film by weaving together its fragments, as camera, editor, spectator, silent and visibly, repairing damage with a montage and a suture whose stitches will melt into skin as if never there. Film theory continues to reason with its tendencies towards obfuscation through Baudry and the apparatus, so much hidden in the process of reproducing an image, that to think of the effort required is to confront cinema directly, but to know it more honestly. There is beauty to be found in the fragments, the show of effort, the unveiling of the fantasy. Film is fantastical for our reason to be able to still believe it while knowing it as illusion. It is beyond objective truth, to become subjectively perceptive. Cinema is belief despite reason. It is a religion to those who practice with their whole beings. I want to practice this. I want to pray. And I begin with externalizing the feeling of film in me. I want to make my wound into a scar. Let the suture mark me as having been healed. I will let my stitch into cinema be known, strands and drops of red thread around medical staples and metallic barbells. The films that have touched me have left scars, the tenderness a scar brings, to identify us with the pain of the cut, while reconciling with its evident healing. And so I say to film theory, let the suture settle. Let us be aware, be made aware of what film is told to avoid. Notice the continuity errors in the boom mic and frame, and feel our bodies in our seats. Let us be cognizant of the spiritual surgery, where we may assume the screen into our humanity. I must wear films because I am a projector. I contain the past and present and have the power to give it light. I am the machine that requires the body of work to function, using my body to work. And so this machinery is adorned and gilded. I am holding on to the film of my life, waiting for a screen to send it to. I hold it inside my body, and it holds time, holds space, holds me, one with me, the cinematic spirit. I hold a needle in my hand and see its thread and the lines of light. And if we are to make ourselves at home in our bodies, and to make our spirits sing inside them, I break the skin, rip these slits, so voices may be carried higher by silver, its chrome reflective and supplementing noise with materiality. A suture begins with a piercing, a single point of puncture. The needle has to break the skin seal to become integrated within. But the theory of suture practice disregards the pain of the incision, where it should instead focus on how, despite the sharpness and the realization that a film is unreal, we continue to sew, continue to morph our skin into celluloid, stock, pixels. And so rather than see suture as how we hide a wound, the wound is transformed by the suture into something reconstructed, a new sense, a new skin, a new space to fill the gap. The suture is healed and reopened with each film that emotionally tears us. The least we could get is a new earring each time as proof, to prove that we are not as impenetrable as we let on. But the human body isn't large, long, or immortal enough, and so film takes this place, and its silver sphere of infinity can live within me through different and more stylistic means. I've always seen the act of film, the recording of live footage, to be as introspective as viewing it from the outside, as both, either, subject or I, We subsume humanity to the level of a camera. A red dot blinks in lieu of bloodshot eyes tired from incessant seeing. Machine picks up at the edges of flesh to possess what I see. Frozen in time and place, still life becomes moving pictures and can live forever, stitched into preservation. My image too, fossilized until gazed upon, will be indiscernible from beams of illumination. I will be made into the film. I will pierce through the membrane dividing us. The same way film found me, I feel the prick of embodiment in each sense. Knowing body, soul, and film are one, skewered, sutured, scarred. The process is the practice. For so long, I've recorded myself to know the image of me, to recognize it and then to accept it. But what I have found is that as I record myself, I'm able to unsheath my emotional array, able to see outside of myself to see myself, feel the time pass and my body change, bring my sensations back to that context, feel it as if it were presently happening. Needles under the skin to lift it up, reveal the pink beneath, bring back body memory, body consciousness. The body sees itself as it must be. And mine, constantly evolving. My body knows itself through its scars, through its points of suture. As a filmic body, my scars and sutures are the same. The silver screen, the silver in me, mend as one. So I can live, cheat death, forever. Projected on the screen of my body, the visible man and the film of his life.
So I was in Hawaii on exchange after all this and needless to say, did not hurry back for this announcement. So done pre-recorded a thank you message. I'm going to play that, and then I'm going to toggle into Vimeo to play the video.
Hello everybody, thank you to the Roif family and especially Roif for this award. Also thank you to Professor Dale for nominating the movie poet, as well as the Film Studies Department Director Barbara Secchi for this opportunity. My movie poem is a conversation between a film, a poem, and interviews with my personal experience and reflections to kind of blend all those texts together to create a new kind of meaning and new story. And it's a very personal project for me, and I'm deeply honored that it's being seen by you all. Thank you so much, and hope to see you all soon.
Did you have a good holiday then?
The best. Wish we could have stayed for longer.
Me too. Yeah.
I mean, why can't we?
What do you mean?
Why can't we just stay here?
on to writing a screenplay. In second place, we have Samantha Van Horn for A Color for Every Moment.
I would like to thank my wife and the entire Roif family for just having our work recognized. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful thing. And I would like to thank Daniel Pope. He worked with me on this all year. I'm incredibly proud of it and grateful for him and this event.
Yes. And just a note for all award winners, I do have like a custom fitted box for everybody's trophy, so at the end, you'll know what not there.
I should just stand right here. Yeah. Yes. Alright. Yes.
Interior living room, evening, later that day. A car pulls into the driveway. Dad walks out of it. The dog barks and the front door opens. I'm home! Mom comes out of the parents' bedroom.
Hi, honey. How was work?
It was work. Amy runs out of the room. She gives her dad a big hug.
Hi, Dad. How was work?
Oh, it was great, honey. But I missed you. And your sister.
I missed you too.
How'd the test go?
It was okay.
Can I tell you a secret? I used to be horrible at tests.
I'm pretty bad too.
And that's perfectly fine. You're still a brilliant kid.
Dad picks her up and swings her around in a big hug. He grins at her, setting her down.
You know what? I've had this certain song stuck in my head all day that I just can't seem to get out.
Amy knows what he means. They're about to have a dance party. She's excited.
I know it.
Amy runs the old CD player and puts in a disc, Tapestry by Carole King. The song Beautiful comes on. The song blasts through the house. The two of them start singing along and dancing around the room.
Do I hear what I think I hear?
Mom enters and begins singing with them. She's trying very hard to sound good. It's clear they have all done this before.
Megan, come out here. I'm writing.
Dad dances down the hallway with Amy and pushes open Megan's door. Interior Megan's room continues. Megan is in her room writing in her notebook. Dad barges in.
I'm working.
Not anymore!
He picks her up off the bed, though she is reluctant, and carries her into the living room to dance. Interior living room continues. Dad is taking turns lifting up the kids, and they're having a lot of fun. Lola is enjoying herself too.
The dog. Mom, can you sing normally? You don't like my voice. You know I sang this at the Academy of Music back in...
We know, dear.
No, Mom, not that. Just sing like, stop trying so hard. This is just my voice.
It takes a really good singer to sing intentionally poorly.
Mom sings off key.
You're a wonderful singer, dear.
He struts over to her and takes her in his arms, dancing. He gives her a kiss on the cheek.
I think Mom sounds great. Okay. The girls need to finish their homework now.
Listen up. Let the song finish, at least. Lighten up.
Hey! Come here.
She pulls him away for a moment. The kids are oblivious.
What?
Have you been drinking again?
Oh, no. Don't start this now.
Dad goes back over to Megan and Amy to continue dancing with them. Mom walks over to the CD player and turns off the music.
Mom? Come on, Mom, why don't you turn it off? Party's over, girls. Finish up your homework before dinner. Fine.
The girls run off into their respective bedrooms.
You're a real bitch.
He walks into the kitchen.
I'm making chicken and veggies for dinner. You want brown or white rice?
Mom stands by the CD player for a moment longer, looking like she has just been slapped. She takes a breath.
What?
She walks away towards her bedroom.
That's all. Thank you.
Moving on to first place for best screenplay goes to Theo Elena for Timeless.
I'd like to thank Ellie Rowe a second time. I don't really have much to say about this one. I think Samantha's screenplay is an amazing work of art, and I think she deserves first place. But thank you for this award anyway. And time to do is read it.
Black.
3 days ago, I saw a ghost.
Interior prison visiting room day, 2025. The blurred outline of a man appears through the glass, his appearance unnerving. The old man sits opposite, using his cupped hands to hold the telephone to his ear in a state of shock. He sports a gray beard atop his wrinkled face, a face of hopelessness.
As real as the cold iron around my wrists.
The old man places the phone down with both hands, cuffs clattering.
As real as the jumpsuit around my body.
He stands and exits, guards following behind him. Interior prison cafeteria, day. The old man walks through the cafeteria followed by 2 guards. His dejected posture as he walks either indicates his fragility in old age or his dismay from the visitor.
The face I saw 50 years ago.
Interior prison activity room, day. 3 men continue through the prison.
Stood before me once again.
Interior prison cell, day. The old man walks into the gloomy prison cell, guards closing the door behind him. A glimpse of his broken spirit squeezes through the cell doors as they lock him into the darkness.
It was my own.
Exterior, beach, day, 2005. The old man, now 20 years younger, walks alongside a young boy of 6. His name is Miles. They are holding hands. Hey, Uncle John.
Yes, Mom?
Can you tell me a story?
Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, I was just thinking of one. It has to do with time travel and saving your life. Would you like to hear?
Yeah! John looks down at the boy in beard.
Have you ever made a decision that haunts you for the rest of your life? Voiceover.
Interior house, night, a year later. A woman screams in anguish. John stands above a corpse with a pistol in his hand. Sorrow permeates his face. The body of a man around John's age lies facing away, blood from its head soaking into the carpet.
Have you ever had to look your mistaken eyes and wonder?
John looks behind him. Miles stands in the doorway, confused and afraid. Their eyes lock.
Where did it all go so well?
Credits. Timeless. That would be the beginning credits. Black.
People have been writing and researching the endless possibilities of time travel all throughout the 20th century. And although nobody publicly figured it out, one man did in 1957.
Exterior, St. Louis suburb, night, 1957. Street lamps light up a typical 1950s American dream neighborhood with identical rows of one-story houses. Interior, suburban house, night. A young boy runs through the hallways wearing a Davy Crockett coonskin hat, war-whooping playfully. Down the hall, a man opens the door to his office. This man is Oscar Abramov, 47, Russian-American, uncannily similar in looks to Isaac
Helen, can you shut that kid up? I can't think with him hollering all the time.
Yes, dear. She walks in from the living room, following the boy into the room he'd galloped into. She returns into the hallway, leading the boy by his ear. Alan, how many times do we have to tell you not to make noise when your father's working?
It's always working.
Oscar, still watching from his office, scoffs at the scene. He closes the door. Interior, Oscar's office, night. The office is riddled with papers, notes, newspapers, articles, and books. A framed image, almost buried in papers, shows a young but recognizable Oscar attempting a Hugo Award. Accepting a Hugo Award. The headline on the newspaper next to it reads, Oscar Abramoff, awarded the Pulitzer. Next to this is a row of books, each with a different title, but all with the same author, Oscar Abramoff. Oscar stands above his desk, overlooking the blueprint sketches and mathematics calculations sprawled around. He then looks up, revealing one large, professionally done blueprint for what appears to be a grand machine with wires and cables coming out of its every orifice. He stares into this drawing, letting out a deep sigh.
Some men strive to change the world. Others pursue the hopes of success. But herein lies a man belonging to a small minority. The men who have the means to change the world, who refuse to. I wasn't there in this moment, but I can almost assure you that when he looked into that blueprint, he was intimidated by the daunting existence of his creation.
Oscar removes the blueprint from the wall, folding it and placing it within a drawer of his desk. Stoically, he exits the office, closing the door behind him.
And his intimidation overpowered his curiosity.
Camera pans to a calendar in the office. Pages begin flipping as if a gust of wind materialized.
And so the world moved on, unknowing of the revelation of Oscar's discovery. Thank you.
All right, moving on to Best Documentary Video. The second place prize goes to Dominic Papaglia for Finding Sobriety in Charlottesville. Thank you to Eileen, the Roif family, and shout out to all the professors. They're super passionate. It's very infectious. Also, the University Without Walls professors. Those also have been really amazing. We got nominated by a professor in Spain, David Casales Roma, and yeah, it's this is about my nanny from when I was little, when my parents were both working. I think she was 6 years sober at the time. And yeah, enjoy.
My friend said you only have to change one thing and that's your whole fucking life. You know, and I had to change my whole life. I did. Something. La, la. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Check. I'm very grateful. I'm very fortunate, and I'm very aware of how it could have ended up for me and how it's ending up for me in a different fashion. So, you know, the self-esteem was extremely low. I didn't think I was deserving of anything good in my life. There was always a way for me to, you know, get money out of places, out of cash registers, or out of, you know, even I worked at a bank and I like stole money out of the safe, and just, Jesus, I just didn't. It's so crazy when I think about that. I was never accused, and I was never. They never kind of pointed fingers at me first, because I looked okay and I acted okay, but as soon as I left that job, I was a wreck and I was drinking and drugging as soon as I walked out that door, you know. I would steal your wallet and then help you look for it, because I just didn't care. And I thought, well, if I show enough empathy to your loss, then you'll never think it was me. The drugs and the alcohol just took me so far away from who I was and who people thought I should be, that alcohol made me 10 feet tall and bulletproof. And in front of you, that's who I would be. And then when the doors were closed, I would cry my head out and say, "Oh my God, what's happening here? I've totally lost control of any sort of a semblance of reality in my life." And that's how it was for like 15 or 20 years. I mean, it wasn't like it was a week. It was a really long time. And I just think, Jesus, I was worthy of a better life. And I just didn't ever think I was. I didn't think I had any worth. The low self-esteem was huge. And a lot of that was just kind of how it was kind of how we were brought up, and that was, you should know this because you're my daughter kind of thing, and it's like, but I don't know this, so who's going to help me? Being a diabetic was an inconvenience, and it was a problem for the family that I was a diabetic, I was living in Hudson and drinking at a biker bar in downtown Hudson, and dealing a lot of coke with this guy that I was living with, and somebody was coming to our house to buy drugs, and they got pulled over for drunk driving in our driveway, and she was a really good friend of mine, and she said, "I'm going to get sober because I don't want to live this way." And I said, "Okay, I'll get sober with you." And I literally didn't even know what it meant. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was like, "Okay, I'll do that," because I had no functioning brain cells in my own head anymore, and I just thought, this is really bad. And she got sober, and I got sober, and she's still sober now, and that was in 1994. I relapsed after a couple months and had to call home and said, "I need help. I can't do this by myself." And I ended up asking for help from a friend that lived in Maynard, and he said, come and meet me at a noontime meeting, which was, the 12-step fellowship that kind of saved me, and I met him there, and I have been clean and sober since then, and that was July 12, 2001, and life changes. Women that I talk to every day, and call me when there's stuff going on, and when they need help getting and staying sober. I went to a meeting last night, and my friend was getting his 7-year medallion, which is a big deal, and he is really nervous and shy and doesn't speak in front of people barely ever, unlike me, where I get up there and tell everybody everything. And he just gets up there and says, I had been sober for about 9 months, and then I met Charlotte, and she introduced me to everybody. She knew everybody, and she brought me to every single meeting, and my wife became good friends with her, and my daughters love her, and that's what you love. I helped him get sober, and I didn't even know that I was doing it. I just wanted somebody to go to meetings with me, If you speak the answer, because a lot of people still talk about the problem, the problem is the drinking, but the answer is the not drinking. So that's the part that you have to let people know about and say, there's better ways to live our life than the way we're living it.
All right, and for best documentary video, we have Samantha Van Horn, A House of Generations.
Thank you. I would like to again thank the Roif family because I'm very happy to have this be experienced by all of you. Some recognition is always a pleasure. I would like to give a tremendous thank you to David Van Dixon, who helped me digitize. This whole project stemmed from finding 10,000 feet of 16 millimeter film that my great uncle shot from 1931 to the 80s, 60s. And David did a lot of work to make this possible. And I'm just so glad that I was able to do this. And thank you to my family, both immediate and extended family, who pulled together some money in return to give to the school. And now we have a film digitizer.
When we were growing up, we had to climb Mount Monadnock without being carried before we're 5. That was the family
long
rule.
family tradition.
And my grandmother had done it, and my father had done it, my aunt had done it.
You did it.
And I did it. All the kids did it. It's like a big thing.
I didn't do that till I was like 7.
Well, not everybody's done it, but a lot.
So then there's when our oldest John, who's here, he did it, made it big, and David's daughter did it at the same time, so it's sort of a big,
big expedition.
Make a big expedition.
You bring a lot of candy.
Yeah. And on the way down, though, we're just alone walking.
You and John.
And he's holding my hand. He's a cute little kid. And he turns to me and says, "Why are they making me do this?" I said, "I don't know, John." As though it wasn't me.
The mountain is just part of the climate, the aura, the ambiance of being up there, sitting on the porch and looking through the pine trees at the mountain in the distance.
I think the best thing we can do is just spend time here. And we've been really lucky in that we live only about an hour and a half away, and our family has really loved being in the manse. So from when our kids were very tiny, we've vacationed in the manse at least every other year, sometimes every year. And so we just know it, we just know it. We're comfortable here. It's a really nice place to spend time. If you have a vacation where you happen to have a lot of rainy days, it's really no problem because the house is so big and so interesting to spend time in. And if it's nice weather, we go to the club, we climb the mountain, we climb Gap, and we visit with family. And it's just been it's enriched our lives, and I think we've also all of us have become, more involved with the manse and with the FW Green Estate as a result.
And if you look at the old photographs around the house, my grandparents' generation and even before that, they were sitting reading in the house, going to the club, and climbing the mountain. They were doing
all the same things.
All exactly the same things. Yeah.
In every room, in many of the rooms, there were pictures of the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, lots of pictures of ships.
I think wasn't the Merrimack one of the first ships that was attacked in the Civil War?
Because there was an admiral named Theodore Penny Green, who Teddy is named after.
My dad was named after the admiral. So it's Theodore Finney Green, and that was my dad's given name. So he used to bring this one home and hang it on the wall at home.
Aww.
Just because he identified. And this is his wife. Okay, obviously before they were married. We call her Rubber Arms because her arms are.
It's rubber arms.
We have like a whole set of old photographs. What was it called? Silver nitrate or something, I think. I think, but it's on glass. And again, these were like early photography, very early photography. Here's so somebody and their kids. And it's.
Is that a carriage? It is a carriage. It's like a big party. Looks like a party carriage.
Wow.
One of the children of the admiral, and became a doctor. The guy that traveled around Europe, the painter.
Yeah.
And this is his apothecary with a lot of really old drugs.
Neat.
Some of them are probably, I'm sure quite a few of them are toxic.
That's so funny. Oh, rat poison.
Rat poison? See, I told you. And the best part of the whole house is the upstairs bathroom. This is in its day, it was quite the thing, quite the luxury to have. You didn't have to go outside. You could just take a dump right there, and it would fall down into the barn where all the animal manure was. It all ended up the same place.
All right, moving on to the award for Best Critical Essay. This goes to Chloe Mills for Jim Henson, Idea Man.
I would like to thank Eileen, Roif, and Lauren family for such a great opportunity for student filmmakers. It's really nice to see everyone here and all of their amazing work being displayed. It's fantastic. I would also like to thank my professor, who I don't think could make it today, Bruce Geisler, whose film documentary class I took and wrote this essay for. I would also like to thank the film studies faculty for always supporting me with all of my work. And I did not know very much about Jim Henson or the Muppets before I wrote this. This is part of my my midterm essay. But in our documentary class this semester, we learned a lot about. We watched a lot of puppet stuff, but we learned a lot about public media, and so I got really passionate about the importance of public media and children's public media. And so this was a really fun watch. This is also the title of the documentary. It's on Disney Plus. If you guys want, I recommend. But thank you.
All right. Finally, our award for Best in Competition goes to Daniel McGlynn. Peace Now. The Rise and Fall of the Weather Underground Organization. Congratulations, Daniel.
Oh, sorry, I forgot that.
You're sanitized already.
Thanks everyone for being here. I'd like to thank the Roif family for giving us this platform and having the privilege of an audience and stuff like that. This is going to be my first time showing a project of mine to an audience, so very grateful that you all are here. I'd like to thank my friends and family for being here. I'm very grateful for that, and also for David Bendixson and Greeley Kyle, who can't be here, just for being exemplary educators. Very thankful for them and for everyone in the film department. So maybe we should all just give them a round of applause for organizing. I hope with this piece I was able to show how maybe younger people, maybe people my age, have sort of inherited a laundered image of the counterculture in the 60s and 70s and stuff like that. And what that tells you about today. It had a much darker edge than maybe that we remember. What that tells you about today is sort of up to you guys, but I hope you enjoy it, and I'm very thankful, honored to receive this award. So thank you.
Faithfully execute the office of President of the United States. I will faithfully execute
1961, Kennedy could appear noble as he told us.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
In 5 years, the same white intellectual youth who had volunteered for the Peace Corps under JFK were burning their draft cards and refusing to do anything for their country except destroy it. The quote, free world democracy, which millions accepted as the U.S.'s world role in 1960, could, 8 years later, only come across seriously on the pages of the New York Times or Wall Street Journal. Instead, the movement spoke of imperialism, which up until then was the exclusive concept of the hackneyed old left. The civil rights integration struggle became the Black Power movement. The teach-ins started out debating whether the U.S. was using the most effective means to, quote, bring democracy to Vietnam, and concluded that the U.S. was the most undemocratic and reactionary power of all.
We have the collection of someone named Ted Allen, who's a sort of amateur scholar, Marxist scholar. His collection came to us through someone named Jeff Perry, and Jeff Perry was friends with someone who was affiliated with the Weather Underground and had this collection.
I feel a little bit like I'm the weatherman whisperer, like a member of this sort of middle generation. One thing was this sense that we are going through apocalyptic times, where social order is breaking down or will completely break down. And then in 68, 69, 70, there was an unbelievable proliferation of, violent imagery. And then people at some level are girding themselves for civil war. At a deeper level, the sense of, oh my God, like we have defied the societal fathers. And then they are going to smack us, and they're going to smack us hard. And then this is all at some level suicidal.
The SDS ended its 7th annual convention yesterday in Chicago and accomplished little beyond a deep and bitter split between two factions, the so-called regulars and the progressive labor group, which follows the teachings of Chairman Mao.
SDS was, the largest young people's radical organization in, the history of America. At its peak may have had 125,000 members. Then it attached itself to civil rights struggle. It attached itself to anti-war protests. And then everything in the 60s moved, incredibly quickly.
They were trying to stop the war, and it wasn't happening. They were trying to end racism. That wasn't happening.
The organization had become deeply ideological, with various versions of Marxism competing.
People like Bernardine Dohrn, a lot of the people who end up being in the leadership of Weather, they were looking to the Black Panthers for inspiration. They felt they needed to provoke a situation because the war was just getting bigger and more people were dying.
SDS formally splits in the summer of 1969. And it was just this, maelstrom of young people trying to remake themselves as revolutionaries.
We will build a revolutionary youth movement capable of actively engaging in the war against the imperialists. We will escalate our attacks until imperialism is defeated in Vietnam.
And then the convention sort of fractures for a while. Two different formations claim to be the real SDS. And then the Weathermen stop investing in it as a national organization. And then they basically throw it over the cliff as a kind of pre-revolutionary petty bourgeois, formation. The Days of Rage demonstrated how isolated they were, while also contributing to their sense of being the only righteous white people who understand the moral necessity to wage armed struggle with this level of risk. These semi-independent cells sort of competing with each other to see who could be sort of the most militant and come up with the most militant tactics.
There would be ideas coming up within many of the cadre that were considering different kinds of armed actions, and there is an ongoing debate about whether or not they should target humans.
Terry had been a poet and an English major during his brief stint in college.
Science was a foreign language, and he hated it for being indecipherable. His fear, his courage, and his rage against injustice were feeding each other into a white heat. His fear could be overcome, he believed, by will. Most people, even those in the movement, seemed to be willing to stand by while the United States rode roughshod over its victims. We owed it to the Vietnamese to take some of the heat away from them. We owed it to the Black movement to do the same.
I am addressing this self-criticism to past, present, and future comrades. Although I am still engaged in examining the depths of my past errors, I get concerned about reading with facts and agreeing with fallacies. So I also read
That shows you the hazard when you give yourself over to something that you can't sort of fully control, that may or may not accord with your own values, and you're on the run, and you don't have a lot of money, and you haven't had a real relationship with your parents in years, and it makes people, you know, a little crazy. And then there's a fine line between, you know, a subculture and a cult. Mark Rudd feels completely comfortable saying that at its worst, it has elements of a cult. And he said the only difference is that in a cult, typically some charismatic leader imposes all this weird stuff on you. And like in this case, we did it to ourselves.
I'm beginning to feel it would be better alone, without the constant competitiveness, the constant maneuvering. I'd like to try it. It hasn't been good this way. They told me it would be like this. Alone and childless, I'd feel it was all a waste. The body weaker, the spirit diminished, and vulnerable to the state. But the people riding on the subways, the women with their sun-glowed and golden faces, beautiful even in polluted, filthy New York, which assaults them minute by minute, gives me hope and courage. My sister, on the brink of leaving her husband, with 3 children to care for, frightened but mustering her courage, says, I won't be the first or the last, gives me courage and hope. It's not like they said it would be. Nothing could move me from caring and trying again, even after a dismal failure.
They are an example of people who are willing to give up everything. You've got to be in it for the long haul. The long haul sometimes is going to be more than your life. If you look at places where there have been revolutions, people have been organizing those things for generations. I mean, you look at Vietnam, look at what's going on in Palestine, they've been fighting for like 50, 60, 70 years. And the idea, like in the United States, was like, we'll get it done before our kids are born.
They took a global revolutionary fervor and then projected it onto a country whose consciousness was in a different place, and then convinced themselves that something that was properly speaking impossible was actually possible. And then they paid the price of their error.
What I don't understand is how the Weather Underground could have been so right about what was wrong with the United States and so wrong about how to fix it.
So why don't we all just give all the winners of the It's so great to see such a wide variety of media projects on different topics and different aesthetics and styles and genres. It really speaks to, I think, the robustness of the film studies program, soon to become its own film studies major.